Smiley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Monday, October 16th. So Mondays are ruled over by the moon, and the moon is currently in Scorpio energy, really helping us to make the change, the transformation needed in our inner realm, in our emotional realm, in order for us to get in alignment with what needs to change and transform in our outer realm. Again, the Scorpio energy, we put the detective hat on. We are not afraid to do a deep dive into the darkest parts of ourselves. We are not afraid to really kind of unearth, flip over some stones that are going to illuminate where it is that some unconscious blockages are continuing to keep us in the same looping pattern. Now, we're also in a very interesting time where, of course, new passions, new desires are finally starting to be realized. And of course, with the moon in Scorpio, there is an intensity, there is this urgency in order for us to kind of fix what has been broken. And of course, move into a pathway where we can start pursuing elements of the future. Now, Mondays are always typically very low and slow because, again, the moon has us kind of wading through the waters, if you will, and having the moon in a water sign on Mondays, in which moons rule over Mondays, definitely going to feel like we're running underwater. It's going to be a hard time getting going, if you will. So there are 7 different aspects here today, and 6 of them are going to involve the moon. The moon in Scorpio going to make an interaction with Neptune. Neptune, of course, retrograde in Pisces energy, really helping us to confront the fears, the doubts, the insecurities that stand in our way of really chasing our dreams, really being able to identify what it is that we want to bring to life. This is a water-on-water interaction. However, because it's not the best type of aspect, we are definitely going to feel overwhelmed with some of the pressure, some of the intensity, some of the darkness that we definitely have to sit in at this particular point in time in order to truly appreciate the light. Now, again, we have to sit in the funk in order to create a framework on what it is that we no longer want to experience, what it is that we no longer want to tolerate, in order for us to be focusing on what it is that we would prefer in its place. This, again, is allowing us to kind of float through the different emotional and intuitive realms within us in order to figure out what is blocking us from actually moving forward. The moon in Scorpio going to sit directly across from Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, abundance, and blessings. He is retrograde in Taurus energy. Scorpio and Taurus energy sit across from each other in the zodiac wheel. Scorpio energy is endings and closures and death in order for there to be a clean slate to build new again. And Taurus energy is where we bring new things into form, where we create new aspects in our physical realm. Because Jupiter is retrograde in Taurus energy, we're kind of taking a time out to really reflect over what it is that we've been trying to pursue, the opportunities that we now have available to us, because, of course, a lot has changed. Our heart has changed, our headspace has changed, the events in our current reality have changed, and so we're given an opportunity to see where it is that right now, because Jupiter is retrograde, that internalized energy is forcing us into a major growth spurt where our spiritual journey is concerned. The moon sitting across from Jupiter at this particular point in time is going to highlight a magnification, if you will, on where it is that we're feeling the struggle, where we're feeling this, I'm going to say, restlessness, this impulsivity, this dysfunction, not knowing where to go, not knowing what to pour our time and energy into. We have to remember that Jupiter tends to be a little bit extra. He magnifies things, he turns the volume all the way up on things, and he's very much thinking about the future. However, we have to be very cautiously aware that we're not making serious commitments at this time. We have a tendency to bite off more than we can chew. And in this particular aspect, it's almost like we are, I'm going to say, pulling a lot of energy and confidence and optimism from our future self. We're not really feeling it now, but we're trying to boost ourselves up to say, you know what, in a couple of months, I might feel differently. Let me commit right now so that I can build towards whatever it is that I have to build towards in order to honor this commitment. Let's not do that. We're in eclipse season, people. This is not a time to make any kind of major decisions, take any kind of major actions, make any kind of major commitments. You may not feel the same by the time eclipse season has come to pass. So we're definitely realizing where it is that we cannot kind of rob the energy, the potential, the confidence from our future selves in order for us to commit to something in the here and now. The growth, the expansion, the possibilities, the opportunities for our future growth, change, and transformation will have a time where we're able to see that a lot more clearer than we're able to see it right now. So it's best that we kind of take a step back. We observe right now what it is that we would like to commit to, what it is that we would like to actually see happen in our future selves, but we need to continue to act as the observer until this eclipse window closes. So Jupiter is then going to have a positive interaction with Saturn. I went into a little bit more depth in this in the ascension forecast for this week. I do encourage you to go take a listen so that you understand fully the kind of energies that we're dealing with here. But basically, Jupiter, who is about growth and expansion, and Saturn, who is the Lord of Karma, he's retrograde in Pisces energy, really trying to dissolve the old realm, the old reality, the old belief system that is preventing us from kind of pursuing new possibilities, new alternatives, new dreams, new goals. This is an energy where we are logical and practical in our focus, in our abilities, and understanding where in the present moment, the current vision, dream, goal that we currently have, we're starting to understand the action, the plan, the strategy that needs to take place to get us from where it is that we're at to where it is that we desire to be. But again, not a time of action. This is a time of contemplation. This is a time of sorting out the pros and cons. We're still very much in Libra season. And so this is an energy where there is this intensity that things are going to be okay. Things are going to be all right. We know exactly what we need to do. We understand the path. We understand the plan. We understand the objective. There's a high amount of intuitive intelligence being downloaded to us at this particular point in time. And it's not over exaggerated like Jupiter tends to do, because Saturn, he's a realist. He brings us back down to earth even when we don't want to be. And so there is a lot of common sense that's being applied to the big vision, to the big dream that Jupiter wants us to continue to really plan and strategize around. The moon is then going to make a positive interaction with Pluto. Pluto rules over the Scorpio energy that this moon is in. Pluto, of course, the great transformer, now direct in this Capricorn energy, helping to empower us, to boss up, to take control, to be the creator of our lives. Now, again, we're not in a time of action. We're in a time of percolating on some of the actions in which we want to take. But this is going to be an intense aha moment, an intense shift in our mood, in our attitude, in our perspective. Again, really bossing us up to see where it is that some of the storylines that have had us feeling weak and vulnerable and out of control, where it is that we're flipping those scripts in order to boss ourselves up and stand in a power and a light of really understanding where it is that we have been playing a secondary role in our lives and where it is that we have to take the starring role back, where it is that we have to be a little bit of more of a force in our lives, creating the kind of realm and reality that we desire to live in. The moon is going to interact with Chiron, though, the wounded healer, who is retrograde in Aries energy, and not the nicest way. And so just when we're feeling empowered, just when we're feeling that boss up energy, suddenly our mind shifts and we start picking ourselves apart. We start examining the fears and the doubts and the insecurities and where we're not feeling well prepared or well equipped to bust out of the old version of self, the old realm, the old reality, where it is that we're trying to build ourselves up into this new identity, this new version of self. But again, there's blockages. There are little bits of our old perspective, our old attitude, our old belief system that continue to create obstacles and blockages for us to actually shed our old skin and move into this new form. The moon is then going to interact with Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money in this Virgo energy, really, really focusing in on the smaller details of what makes us happy, who and what makes us happy, who and what brings us a sense of safety and security. The Virgo energy wants to fix, repair, heal any part of ourselves that isn't in alignment. And because Venus rules over the heart space, we're definitely having a lot of heart activations. Now, lucky for us, this is a positive interaction, which means that we're having an aha moment. We're kind of receiving a new puzzle piece, if you will, on what it is that the new realm, the new reality needs to look like in order for us to tick off all of the boxes that make us feel happy and joy and able to kind of pour into creating this realm, this reality that is very dependent on providing us with the safety and the security that we need to feel to actually build towards something new. Again, Venus, she is just coming out of her post-retrograde shadow period. There's still a little bit of questioning on what it is that she's willing to take action upon in order to rearrange and redesign her physical realm to provide the space for us to be the creator, the designer of our realm and reality, and really pour into taking care of ourselves, especially where our happiness is concerned. The last thing that we got going on here today is the moon in Scorpio making a positive interaction with Mercury. Mercury rules over the mental plane, rules over information, communication, how it is that we express ourselves. Mercury is in Libran energy, sitting on the fence, trying to debate the pros and cons, the highs, the lows, the everything in between, trying to compromise, trying to negotiate, trying to meet ourselves and the people that we deem to be of worth and value in the middle. The moon and Mercury, heart space, head space, are on the same page, granted for a very short amount of time, but we're going to take that as a win. We are seeing what needs to change, what needs to transform, not only in our heart space, but in our perspective, in our mental plane, in order for us to get in alignment, in order for our heart and our head to agree, to engage the physical body, to start take action and making the small moves that will align with the greater, grander plan. So this is a point in time later on in the day where we're actually feeling like we're piecing things together. We're feeling in alignment within ourselves. We're not feeling that discontent, that detachment, that distance that many of us been sitting in for a very, very long time.